I'm Julia Lemons, this is Julia Lemons Fitness. I'm here to show you a deep core activation progression. The first thing that's most important is to make sure that your 360 breathing is going very well, that you have good rib cage and 360-degree movement in your core and your pelvic floor, your rib cage, your belly, and your back. But if you've got that down, this is your next step. So I'm going to have you meet me on the floor and come down to your back with your knees up. So when you start doing this progression, you're going to start with just your breathing. When you breathe properly, you're going to notice that your rib cage will expand, your back will press against the floor, and your belly will expand a little bit too. So you're breathing 360 degrees around, everything moves open. When you breathe in to let air into your abdomen, and as you breathe out, it pulls everything together. So first I'm just going to breathe in, feeling everything expand. My pelvic floor opens, my rib cage expands, my belly expands, and my back presses against the floor, and then I breathe out. When I breathe out, I pull my pelvic floor up, my belly button comes to spine, my back presses against the floor or this towel, and my rib cage connects down. Now, the reason I have this towel here and why you might need one too is because I have, and you may also have, a little bit of an excess curve in your lower back. And when you press down here against the floor, you might notice that if you don't have the towel, that you get a little bit of ballooning right here in your belly. So you'll just notice that it'll pop up a little bit more, or maybe you'll struggle with some coning if you have any deep core issues at all. So you're just going to make sure that you have enough support that you're able to actually activate your deepest core muscle, which is called your transverse abdominis. So when I'm getting that ballooning or that bread loaf pattern, that's just because I am using my abs too much to push my back against the floor and not engaging my TA to really bring everything together. So if you notice you have that bread loaf pattern and any popping of the abs out like this, it will look like a bread loaf, then you will have to and will benefit from adding this towel on the floor. It's just because of the way your body is. Maybe it's the way you're made, or maybe it's some issue that's underlying that we'll be working through as well. So you're going to breathe in, expand everything, breathe out, bring it all in. Breathe in, expand everything, breathe out, pelvic floor, belly button, back, rib cage. Everything is super, super tight. Now, you're going to add movement to this pattern. So I'm going to breathe in, expand everything, breathe out, and lift the leg. Breathe in, and put it down. Now, if you have trouble with a really tight pelvic floor, or if you have any trouble with leaking or incontinence or pain during intercourse or when you put in a tampon, you really need to make sure that you relax your pelvic floor all the way and your rib cage and everything. You relax, 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 super jelly, and then you're ready to go again after you've relaxed. So when you're first starting this progression, make sure you're relaxing. Eventually you'll get to the place where you'll be able to keep it tight the whole time and then relax later. But anyway, that could be a really important part for you. So breathe in, breathe out, pulling everything in super tight. Pelvic floor, belly, back, and rib cage. And then breathe in, expand everything, breathe out, pelvic floor, belly, back, rib cage. And then breathe in, expand everything all the way down. Now I'm going to have you add motion to that breathing. So you're going to take a preliminary breath in, expand everything, breathe out and lift the leg up, breathe in and put it down. Breathe out, lift the leg, breathe in, put it down. Breathe out, lift the leg, breathe in, put it down. And whenever I'm breathing out, remember I'm engaging everything from my pelvic floor up to my rib cage and bringing everything together super tight to support my spine while I'm doing the motion. Your next progression is going to be to reverse the marches. So I'm going to put my legs up to 90-90 and I'm going to slowly lower my leg as I breathe in and breathe out and lift the leg. Now, as you get stronger, you can just work on controlling that motion even more and going slower, 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 and then slower on the way up as well. And then eventually you'll be super strong and you'll go all the way to dead bugs. So for dead bugs, you're gonna lift your arms up and your legs up to 90-90, and you're gonna drop opposite leg and opposite arm at the same time. So I breathe in and drop, keeping my knee bent. Breathe out, bring everything in super tight and come back up. Breathe in, drop, breathe out, bring it back up, and repeat. Now that pattern is the most important part of pairing your breath with your movement. So if you're starting to do this and it's just too hard for you to think about all of these different movements at one time, plus your breathing pattern, just regress it to marches, the easiest part, because getting that mind-body connection when you're thinking about your breathing is one of the most important parts of this exercise. So after that's done and you're like, this is super easy, then your next progression is going to be a fully extended dead bug. Now this is hard because what I have done now, I've put a lot of torque on my lower back by extending my legs downward, and I put a lot of torque on my rib cage by extending my arms overhead, because my lats are now pulling on my ribs to open up my torso. So I have to pull everything up and in and down in order to get my back to go against the floor or the towel. So I'm going to engage everything, take a preliminary breath, engage, lift up, pressing my knee against my hand to get a little bit of an ab engagement there, and then extend out long. Breathe out, ab, core, everything comes up and in, extend, put the leg and hand down. Breathe out, press the knee against the hand, I'm super tight, pelvic floor up, belly button down, rib cage in, and then drop the arm. Breathe in, breathe out, everything comes in and tight, and breathe in and put it down. Now, if it's too hard for you to perform that movement with the core engaged while you're breathing, so let's say I'm in dead bugs and I am trying to do this, but I can't engage my core well while I'm breathing in, you can breathe in and then breathe out and have the eccentric and concentric motion be while you are breathing out. So that way it will be a little bit easier for you to work on that core engagement while you're moving. Eventually, I would like for you to get to that place where you can pair your breath with your movement, because that's going to make a really healthy breath and core system, because your diaphragm is intimately involved in your core strength, and if you don't have good diaphragmatic control, it's going to make it harder for you to have a functional and healthy core that supports you while you're moving. So I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I'd be more than happy to answer your questions for you. I'm Julia. This is Julia Lemons Fitness. Thanks for watching. Please like this video and follow along.